Hey there, gang. Before we jump into today's content, we have some really fun stuff here, wrapping up the love month. A couple things we'd like to ask you to do. One is just do us a favor. If you're enjoying this content, we would love for you to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and share it, if you will. We're beginning to get a little bit of traction here, and it's because you guys are helping us out, so we'd appreciate that. Second thing is go on over to our Facebook group, Your Marriage Matters, and join us over there. We put even more content there for you. As always, we're committed to helping you build the marriage that you dreamed of when you said I do. And that's what we're committed to. So we'd love to have you join us. If you don't mind, again, like, subscribe, and share. Let's jump into the content.
I think one of the reasons that's good is we want to feel loved in our most unlovable state. And sometimes if we've made a mistake or if something's going on and we're in conflict, to be able to be spoken to kindly and gently probably brings out the
Yeah.
best in the person that you're
Bible
talking to.
even addresses this and let your yes be yes and your no mean no. And
Exactly.
that way
Exactly.
we know we can depend on each other. We can count on each other. And it just gives us the confidence in each other that I think the marriage relationship deserves. Hey there, gang. It's Jim.
And Christy.
Jacobus with Your Marriage Matters, and we have got a great episode for you, gang. We are in the very last episode of February, our love month, baby. Month of love.
And month of our anniversary. So
Well, that's why it's a month of love. And today we are actually going to be using some content from a guy named Paul David Tripp. And we have come across Paul David Tripp as we are preparing for a conference that we're doing this coming Friday called the One Night of Oneness. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be just great time. But we are using some of Paul Tripp's videos to do this with. And babe, I know that you like these videos, but you know this, I love these videos and I love Paul Tripp.
Right. And I think you've gotten the information from his newsletter that you've subscribed to. And the information that comes out of there is just real practical and really relevant, I think, to a lot of things that we talk about, which is intentionality and gratitude. And so I just am excited to delve into it as well.
Yep. And gang, so if you want to catch up with Paul Tripp after the end of our podcast today, you go to Paul Tripp, and that's TRIPP.com. And you can actually sign up for his newsletter there, and you can find a bunch of his content. He's on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you look on social media, you'll find him. But last Wednesday, we got a newsletter from him, and it said 24 ways to love in 24. So a lot of them were good, babe. We could have done 24 of them, but that would have made a very, very long podcast. But we decided to pick 5 out of there, and that's what we're going to share with you today.
Right.
5 ways from Paul Tripp's 24 Ways to Love in 24. And, babe, how did you go about picking yours out of here? How did you make up your mind? Because I think there's a pattern here.
Right. I think there were, like you said, there were 24 great ones. And there were some that just spoke to me, and there's things that I'm struggling with. And I wanted to make sure that I realized that when things are difficult is when I have the opportunity to really show up for you. So I chose things I think that I was struggling with. And so that's what was relevant for me. What about you? What did you think?
Well, I picked some things that I felt like I was struggling with as well, but I also felt like you picked some things you thought I was struggling with.
Could have been.
Maybe.
Maybe,
Well, it's
possibly.
not like it's a big surprise or anything. Well, let's tell you what. I'm going to let you read number 1 and tee it up, and we'll just go back and forth. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
All right. So, number 1 is
love is being more committed to unity and understanding than you are to winning, accusing, or being right. And that goes back to the old saying, which would you rather be, right or loved? And so I think this one would have been one of the ones that I liked, but I know you checked it off too. So what are your thoughts?
I did, but I felt like you picked this one for me because you know me, as competitive as I am. Growing up in a family where winning arguments was critical, I brought a lot of this win at all costs to our relationship. Now I think I've gotten better at it, but again, listening to a lot of Tripp's videos and preparing for the One Night of Oneness, I really feel like this is something I want to get better at. That's why I picked this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have issues with each other, and we
Mm-hmm.
should be able to take issues with each other. As a matter of fact, one of the other love is speaks to that as well. But at the same time, not at the cost of unity, not at the cost of understanding, each other,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly not at the cost of winning, no matter what, to win an argument. I just don't. I just gotten to the point where I don't think that's worth it anymore.
Hmm. Right. And the thing that this speaks to me is if somebody wins, the other person loses. Do you
Right.
really want the person who's most special to you to feel like they've lost something? Or if you're right, they're wrong. And
Yeah.
there's so many cases where it's not a matter of right or wrong because
Correct.
we can have differing opinions and still both be be right. So
Yeah.
I think that's what unity and understanding tops winning and everything's too. So
Yeah, and it just dawns on me as we're talking about this. We talk a lot the last couple of years about Team Jacobus is more important than Jim or Christie,
right.
and I think that's where this fits in. Is that the marriage is more important than me being right or you being right or me making you wrong or you making me wrong, which again that's rare because you just don't come at things that way. But I do a lot. But goes back to our Team Jacobus is more important than you or I.
Right. Right. And I think this one is if we kept this at the centerpiece
Yep.
about unity and teamwork and everything too, then it doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't really matter. And I know that because you're competitive to my more laid back style. I wish there were ways that I was more competitive. I really do wish I had some more of that competitive fire and everything. So, but this is at the heart of the thing. We want to be a team. We want to be supporting each
Yeah.
other. And maybe that's kind of going back to how I see things personally.
Yeah.
So
Well, and by the way, I see a little bit of that competitive fire coming out on the pickleball court. That's for sure.
I'm not really sure about that, but
I am. I
it's
am.
it's quite fun.
All
So
right. Do me a favor. Read that for us one more time.
love is being more committed to unity and understanding than you are to winning, accusing, or being right.
Awesome. All right. The second one here, I'll read this one. Love is being willing to invest the time necessary to discuss, examine, and understand the relational problems you face, staying on task until the problem is removed or you have an agreed upon strategy of response. And
Mhm.
I think this one fits right in with the one we just talked about. That
Right.
one is not about winning at all costs, but this is about coming to a solution and really committing to that, which could be the opposite side of that coin,
Hmm.
where somebody doesn't engage at all.
Right. And for those people like myself who really don't like personal conflict in their life, then a lot of times it's kind of like, why bother? Or no, I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to affect the harmony. But there are times when it matters enough
Yeah,
that you need to do just that. You need to be willing to invest the time and the emotions necessary to discuss problems that are occurring. And I've seen a lot of times couples who don't ever fight. They don't argue. They don't have out and out conflicts, but they also haven't really invested in their marriage. So I think this is really important that it matters enough to me that I'm going to do something to solve the problems that we have.
yeah.
So,
I'm pretty sure that I picked this one because you know me, I like to know why things work, and I
mhm,
want to know why things don't work. And the reason for that is because if we really understand why things are working and why things don't work, we can fix them.
mhm,
And sometimes that requires us to do what it says. We've got to be willing to invest the time necessary to discuss, examine, understand all the relational problems that we face, which, by the way, are very few. But I like the idea that you and I are both committed to we're going to dig in and figure this out because we
mhm.
want to solve the problem. We want to understand not just why things don't work, but you know me, I want to know why things are working. Because
Right,
if I understand why it's working, we can repeat it and make it happen over and over again. And I just, you know me,
right,
I'm always in pursuit of wanting to understand that stuff.
right. And I think I picked this one too because of the fact that I need to be reminded all the time that conflict is can be a powerful thing. It can get us to a better space, I deserve the right to have my thoughts and feelings known. And I think I have a tendency, and a lot of times, to just go, it doesn't really matter. And I do mean that. I'm not saying that passive aggressively, but it's just like,
Yeah.
but if it does matter, if it is important, and if it is relevant, I need to be willing to engage in the conflict.
Yeah. So let me read it one more time. Love is being willing to invest the time necessary to discuss, examine, and understand the relational problems you face, staying on task, and the problem is until the problem is removed, or you have an agreed upon strategy of response.
So
All right, number 3, babe, hit this one.
love is recognizing the high value of trust in a relationship and being faithful to your promises and true to your word. And this
Yeah,
one I really liked because it talks about the high value of trust, how important trust is in a relationship, especially one such as this. So I really like that. So,
yeah, I picked it for the same reason. And again, as we go through Tripp stuff and everything, he talks a lot in the book Marriage. Which, by the way, guys, I'm going to put a link to paultripp.com into the show notes for you so you can reach out and get on his newsletter and get some of the stuff that we're getting. But I'll also link you to the book that Christy and I are listening to
mhm,
pretty much every night and going through it together. It's just called Marriage, the Six Gospels of Marriage, which we're both really enjoying. But, babe, one of the things that came out of that book was talking about how critical trust is.
mhm,
And, obviously you and I put a high value on trust when it comes to things like faithfulness and integrity and character. But you and I were talking about before this particular episode, it's not just the big things, it's the little bitty things, the day-to-day things. And Tripp does a great job of talking about how your marriage lives in the day-to-day moments, not in the big moments, but in the day-to-day moments,
mhm,
and how we want to be true to our word in day-to-day moments. Like,
mhm,
hey, I said I'd be home at 5 and it's 5:15 and I didn't call you and let you know, or any number of little bitty things like that where we just don't do what we say we're going to do. And I
mhm.
know you're committed to that. I'm committed to that. So that even in the little bitty things, we trust each other. To me, that's why I like this one so much.
Right. And that's one of the things. Sometimes our language can be kind of vague, and it's not intentional. We're not trying to do anything, disrespectful or untrustworthy, but we just use language. And I know I'm really guilty of this, of saying, "Oh, I'll be right back," when there's no possible way I would be back for an hour and stuff. And so it's like, being true to your word. And what does that mean? And what does that look like? And sometimes it kind of goes back to what we just said. We each have to be willing to say, wait a minute, you said this. And so that's why I made decisions and actions based on your word. And that way we grow and learn how to be more trusting and trustworthy.
Yeah,
So
and that's the Bible even addresses this, and let your yes be yes and your no mean no. And
exactly.
that way,
Exactly.
we know we can depend on each other. We can count on each other. And again, it just gives us the confidence in each other that I think the marriage relationship deserves.
Right. So
All
true.
right, so read it one more time.
Love is recognizing the high value of trust in a relationship and being faithful to your promises and true to your word.
Awesome. All right, number 4 is mine. And again, I picked this because I needed it, and I think you picked this because I needed it. Because you always speak kindly. All right.
Mhm,
Love is speaking kindly and gently, even in moments of disagreement, refusing to attack the other person's character or assault their intelligence. And, babe, I'm going to amend this just a hair to say refusing to attack the other person, period. All
mhm,
right. Let's attack the problem. Let's attack the issue. Let's attack what's going without having the need to attack the person. And again, I picked this for myself. All right. And if you picked it for me, you certainly should have. But learning to do that kindly and to do it in a way that is respectful, still, firm, still focused, still on task, but at the same time without any need to use inappropriate language or raise our voice or, again, like I said, attack the person. Let's
mhm.
just attack the problem. I really like this one, and I'm committed to working on it and getting better. And I think this is a great opportunity for me to grow.
hmm And oftentimes, I've seen this when couples come in for counseling, how they talk to each other. And Dr. Gottman says avoid harsh startups. So don't start off with something that's going to put people on the defensive, and start with kind and gentle prompts. And I think one of the reasons that's good is we want to feel loved in our most unlovable state. And sometimes if we've made a mistake, or if something's going on and we're in conflict, to be able to be spoken to kindly and gently probably brings out the
Yeah.
best in the person that you're talking to. So,
Yeah, our focus for Friday night is Luke 6:43 to 45, and at the very end of 45, it says, "Out of the mouth comes the abundance of the heart." And
hmm
I want the abundance of my heart to be kind and gentle,
hmm
not mean and or arrogant or loud. I want my heart to be kind and gentle. And so
hmm
that's why I love this. Love is speaking kindly and gently, even in moments of disagreement, refusing to attack the other person's character or assault their intelligence. And I'm going to amend that to say refusing to attack the other person, period.
hmm
Let's attack the problem. Let's attack the issue without having to attack the person. So that's why I love this one. And babe, this is one of those things I am going to get much, much better at. Because, like I said, I want the abundance of my heart to be kind and gentle. Uh,
Okay. So,
that's what I want to be. All right.
yeah.
So the last one,
Love is refusing to be self focused or demanding, but instead looking for specific ways to serve, support, and encourage, even when you're busy or tired.
they could have left out that even when you're busy or tired part, and I would have bought into this one 100%. Um, and babe, I don't know why you like this one, but one of the things again that we are really focusing on and learning on is that marriage is the opportunity for us to learn how to love like God loved us.
hmm
That sacrificial love through Jesus Christ. That I'm going to love you no matter what. And we've done a good job of that. I think we've done a good job of that. But again, if better is possible than good's not enough, I want to become excellent at it. And
hmm
that kind of sacrificial love is this refusing to be self-focused. We could change self-focused to say selfish, all right, or demanding, but instead looking for ways to serve and support. Again, I think you do a great job of that. I'm getting better at it. I think together we are really focused on doing a good job here.
hmm
But even when you're busy or can
Hey,
we leave that part off?
you know what it reminds me of too is, have you ever seen that thing? Character is who you are when no one's looking
Yeah,
and you're in a pinch.
yeah,
Because, we always think we could be a certain way, but when you add elements of being tired or hungry or angry or anything to that, that makes the whole dynamics of that change.
yeah.
So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's easy to focus on your needs when something is happening, and look for ways. This is the part of it that I really like, specific ways to serve, because we've talked about this as a servant heart, the support, the encouragement, all that comes from the heart, I think is
Yeah.
really important. And to put your needs to the second, so that you can focus on the needs of the other person, I think is very, very strong.
Man, you said something there that I didn't really pay attention to, but we talked about last week that word specific there, because last week we talked about becoming a conscious competent around what our spouse's love languages are and our relational needs.
Mhm.
And so when it says specific, what ways can I serve you? What actually makes your heart light up when I do it?
Mhm.
Helping with making the bed. And again, we'll go back to the mundane, day to day little moments of life. But I like that idea right there that we're going to be very specific about it. We talk about becoming a student of your spouse, and not just being kind, but being really laser focused with our kindness and with our serving and all those kinds of things. I think that really is what makes this or can take this to another level. So I like this one as well. And again, the whole idea of sacrificial love, that's what marriage was designed to be. And that's why I like this one a lot. So
Yes,
anyway,
me too. It
all
is.
right.
It is the reminder that love is refusing to be self focused or demanding, but instead looking for specific ways to serve, support, and encourage, even when you're busy or tired.
Yep. So, gang, that is 20. That's 5 of 24 ways, babe, that you can love better in 2024. And again, we always encourage you, folks, if you're watching this, listening to this, if you're listening to a short that we carve out of this, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Your Marriage Matters. We really appreciate that. We're getting more and more people are finding us, and that's because you guys are sharing us, liking it, which helps all the algorithms, all the technical stuff in the background. We really appreciate that. And if you want to find this particular episode, you can go to yourmarriagematters.com/179. Right? I believe, yeah, 179, yourmarriagematters.com/179. You can find all of the stuff. Again, show notes on YouTube, Facebook group, Your Marriage Matters. Come join us there. We'd really appreciate that. Babe, what do you want to leave everybody with as far as we're wrapping up the love month? Anything you want to pass on to everybody before we go?
I still go back to the thing we say every month. Your marriage matters.
Yeah.
What you're doing, the work that you're putting in, the intentionality and the focus on that, on doing things to show love, because sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult because we do have our own hurts and thoughts and everything. So anything and everything that you do to make your marriage a priority will show benefits in the long run. So that would be what I would share.
Yep.
What about you?
Same thing here, guys. Become a conscious competent about your spouse, about love, about marriage. We highly recommend the book Marriage by Paul Tripp. I will put a link to it and a picture in the show notes so you can see what it looks like. We're listening to it on Audible. You can buy it on Amazon. We actually bought 10 copies to give away Friday night at the One Night for Oneness, because we so believe that book's being really, really helpful for us. But like Chrissy said, please, please, please understand your marriage matters. It matters a lot. And babe, I'm reminded of that every week right now when I teach divorce care, of how much it matters, how devastating it is when it doesn't go right. And again, doing everything that you possibly can to be the best version of yourself. And then at the end of the day, making sure that we're creating the best version of Team Jacobus. So your marriage matters to you, matters to your kids, matters to your family, matters to your neighborhood, your work. And we want you to know that it matters to us. So, babe, thanks for so much. I love you. You're the best. Everybody's behind us. I'm going to miss the love month.
Yeah. You know what's cool is this month is leap year. So, you know how we always tell people if you had an extra day, well, this year you do. So do something special on February 29th, and we'll see y'all again on the start of March.
All right. Love you, sweetheart.
Love you too.
Bye, gang. That was good.